You know, when a market gets tough, most companies, well, they retreat. They pull back. But some see an opportunity and decide to attack. And that's exactly what Citywide Home Mortgage is doing right now. They just made this major executive hire, and it signals a huge bet on growth, just as everyone else is hunkering down and playing defense. So let's break down their playbook.
Okay, take a look at this quote from Citywide's CEO. It really is the entire strategy in a nutshell. Think of it like a two-pronged attack, right? On one hand, you bring in the elite talent from the outside, but on the other, you got to make sure they fit the client-first culture that's already on the inside. This isn't just some PR fluff. It's a really clear signal about how they plan to grow. All right, so here's the big move. Citywide has promoted an industry veteran, Robert Coomer, to a brand new role, Chief Growth Officer. I mean, just stop and think about that title for a second. In a market where most companies are just focused on survival, Citywide went ahead and created a role that's entirely dedicated to expansion. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know. So, to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to look at two things. First, the player. That's Robert Coomer. And second, the platform. That's Citywide. It's the combination of this specific person with this specific company that makes this whole strategy so potent. I mean, Coomer's track record is basically a highlight reel of success. We're talking over 25 years in the industry. He founded his own powerhouse lending group. And just look at this number from 2020. He closed $1.3 billion in loans during the big refi boom. Think about that. He only joined Citywide back in April, and just a few months later, they've handed him the keys to their entire growth strategy. This is exactly what the CEO was talking about when he said elite talent.
Okay, now let's talk about the platform he's joining. Citywide runs this really unique hybrid model. The local branches, they basically act like independent startups. They handle their own staffing, their own marketing, they're entrepreneurs. But, and this is the key, the parent company provides all the heavy lifting. We're talking technology, capital markets, compliance, the whole 9 yards. It really is the best of both worlds. You get that entrepreneurial spirit, but it's backed by some serious corporate muscle.
And this, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? The timing. I mean, the mortgage market has been absolutely brutal since 2022, so why on earth is Citywide slamming on the accelerator and appointing a growth chief now of all times?
Well, to really get the pressure everyone's under, you need to understand this term, margin compression. Basically, after the sheer volume of loans just collapsed, the profit margin on every single mortgage got squeezed super tight. Lenders are simply making less money on every deal they close. And that's the tough financial reality that has forced so many companies to downsize, not even think about expanding.
But this is where Citywide's game plan gets really interesting. See, they don't look at this market and see a threat. No, they see an opportunity. Their strategy is completely counterintuitive. While all their competitors are busy cutting costs and trying to stay afloat, Citywide is investing in a full-on offensive push for growth.
So the big question is, how are they going to pull this off? Well, their strategy is actually a pretty simple but powerful three-step process. Step 1, attract A-list talent, guys like Robert Coomer. Step 2, empower their entrepreneurial branch managers to go out and win locally. And Step 3, back them all up with the massive scale and technology of the parent company. It's a straight-up formula for aggressive expansion. And look, this isn't just about making some small, incremental gains. Nope. They have a huge, very public goal. They want to break into the top 20 mortgage lenders in the entire nation by volume. That is a massive ambition, and it's what's driving this whole strategy. They believe this is the engine that's going to get them there.
All right, so let's zoom out for a second. What does all this mean for the rest of the mortgage world? Because believe me, a move like this sends ripples all across the industry, and you can bet everyone is paying very close attention.
Okay, so when a company makes a move like this, it sends a bunch of clear signals to the market. First, it screams that they're investing in the future, not just trying to survive the present. It also turns them into a magnet for talent, right? Top loan officers see this and think, hey, I want to join a winning platform. It's also just a huge vote of confidence from leadership, basically a big bet that the market is going to rebound. And finally, it signals they're ready to put their money where their mouth is and use their capital to acquire new branches and expand their footprint. And that leaves us with one final and, I think, really critical question. When the market eventually turns around, and it always does, who is going to be in the best position to capture all that new business? Is it going to be the companies that played it safe, the ones that cut back just to survive? Or is it going to be the ones like Citywide that made a big, bold, strategic bet on growth during the absolute toughest of times? We'll have to wait and see.